Killa Ward is a GD area in Chicago located on 75th to 81st Street, Horn Street to Ashland, and in this area they had one of the biggest wars between 2007 and 2012, which two gangs inside Killa Ward that was cool with each other started beefing and killing each other. Then YK in 078 would start beefing hard with G-Ville, which we'll be going over this whole crazy war in this video. Let's start with this. 3 sets make up Killa Ward today, which is 078 and 079 YKN, 079/078 New Money, and 075 J-Lo World. And the GDs in this area have been around since the late 60s, but weren't united until the 90s. 80th New Money was called Maniac City back then, while 78th was called Pound Town. These two sets clicked up in 1994, right after a member from 80th named Gville was murdered, and it was allegedly after Gville murdered 5 Terror Dome members during that same year. This guy was allegedly just like King Von, and he was a well-loved member that put in work around that area. Some say that he was killed from a shorty from Terror Dome in retaliation, while some say he was backdoored by his fellow 80th members. But after his death in the 90s, 78th and 80th both clicked up and formed Killa Ward in his honor.
Fishing, I be fishing.
These two sets will remain close to each other until they will fall out, which we'll get to later in this video. G-Ville is a set of Gangsta Disciples too.
Yeah, put them on camera, love. Yeah, camera roll.
Fuck 80th, bitch. Boss, die slow.
Yeah, camera
That go
roll.
Yeah, all that other shit, boy, I don't even know, boy. All that other shit, boy, we on Bishop, boy, getting it in 2 for 5 all day. Big choppers, boy, we out here, boy. Die fat crazy, boy. Insane, Bishop, boy. Somebody gonna get it over square.
Hey, man,
Hey, where y'all going?
Come on. Fuck the five. Nigga, we die fire crazy, nigga. Fuck Killa Ward, nigga. G-Ville crazy, nigga. Bishop boys raise us, nigga.
No fucking struggle, no preference, bitch.
YK in 078 will lose their first member on October 20th, 2007. It all happened at around 11:36 a.m. when Dorico Jackson, aka Rico from the YK in 078 set, was in a 7700 block of South Polani Street when he was struck by multiple gunshots and died a well-loved YK in 078 member. Then February 27, 2008, a New Money 080 member would die, which New Money was in the Killa Ward alliance before this murder, and then they would fall out. Martise Glass, aka Tease from the New Money set, was in the entrance of a convenience store in the 8000 block of South Ashland Avenue right around 3 p.m. when allegedly some YK and 078 members robbed and killed him. And this is what broke the alliance between New Money and YKN. He was taken to Advocate Christ Medical Center where he died from his injuries. Then February 2nd, 2010, 2 years later, Eric Steffens Jr., aka E. Frank from the New Money / Evan Mob set, was in the 8300 block of South Hermitage Avenue when 22-year-old Quincy Getter allegedly fired 5 to 6 shots from a handgun when E. Frank was getting into his mother's car with a friend. He was hit in the chest and the thigh and would die from his injuries at the age of 19. His 38-year-old friend was sitting in the back seat and survived. 22-year-old Quincy was arrested for the murder. Then July 21st, 2010, another New Money 80th member would die, and allegedly YKN had something to do with these murders. It happened around 11:40. Kevin Banks, aka Ugly Man from the New Money set, was in the 8100 block of South Winchester Avenue with another man who was also shot when he was found unresponsive at the scene with gunshot wounds to the head. He would be pronounced dead at the scene. July 24th, 2010, another New Money member would die. Keith King, aka PK, was found just before 2 a.m. in the 8700 block of South Emerald Avenue with gunshot wounds to his head. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Then less than a year later, Larry Gore, aka LY from the YKN 078 set, was shot at 79th Street and Loomis Boulevard. He was pronounced dead at the scene at the age of 21. This was a well-loved YKN 078 member, and allegedly G-Ville was responsible for this murder. But then on July 3rd, 2011, this is when the war would ramp up a little bit because Ricardo Hall, aka Ricky from the New Money set, was shot in the chest near the intersection of 65 4th Street and Walcott Avenue. He was taken to Mount Sinai Hospital where he was pronounced dead at 7:36 p.m. This would mark to the 5th death for New Money compared to the only 2 deaths for YKN. But then only 15 days later, on July 17, 2011, police said that they were responding to a call of shots fired when they encountered a crowd of people and 2 men fighting. One of them was identified as Nico Husband, aka Frico/Nico from the YKN 078 set. He began to struggle with officers as they tried to intervene. Police say that Frico/Nico then pointed a weapon at him that resulted in the police shooting him multiple times. He was only 19 years of age of his death. Then less than a month later on August 14, 2011, Darius Jones from the New Money set was in the 8100 block of South Winchester when gunshots were fired and Darius was struck multiple times at the age of 20. Jones was a graduate of Bogan High School and witnesses say that Jones knew who shot him and apparently he gave that person's name to the police before he died. But then a murder would happen of a G-Ville member that YKN allegedly was responsible for. It was February 29, 2012. Quentin Davis, aka Gucci from the G-Ville/CTG 079 set, was shot to death in the 7900 block of South Loomis. A man walked up on him and shot him once in the head at about 12:30 p.m. The attacker then fled north in a nearby alley. Then allegedly they would take out another G-Ville member. A month later on March 29, 2012, Sean Del Harris, aka Dello from G-Ville, was killed in a shooting that left 4 others in critical condition. In the 1400 block of 79th Street, 2 men ran inside the Bishop Golden store and opened fire before running out and getting into a silver SUV. Dello was only 22 years of age of his death. Then it was July 19, 2012. Jamor Saski, aka J-Lo/BKJ from the Killa Ward 075 set, who was allegedly an innocent guy who just was close with some YKN members. He had been shot listening to music with 2 friends in the 7500 block of South Polana Street. He was pronounced dead only 2 hours later. August 28, 2012, Brian Naylor, aka BK from the YKN 078 set, who was apparently a famous member from this set. He was in the 7800 block of South Marshfield Avenue when he was shot multiple times at just about 10 p.m. He died at only the age of 31, and apparently G-Ville was responsible for these last 2 murders. So only the next day on August 29, 2012, Jabari Minter, aka Bari from the G-Ville set, was killed less than 2 blocks away from his home in the 8000 block of South Justine Street. He was only 24 years of age and was shot multiple times. And allegedly, YKN 078 was responsible for this murder. Nowadays, allegedly there isn't much love amongst the former Killa Ward sets. And 78th murdered Swervo from New Money in 2020, which sparked a war all over again. He was killed on February 14, 2020 at around 3:40 p.m. in the 8000 block of South Polana Street. However, their most known beef these days are with Terradome, which we'll save that for another video. And it's a war that's been going on since the 70s. But that'll be about it for this video. Make sure you like or dislike, comment, and subscribe, and let me know down in the comments what y'all want to see next. And as always, stay blessed, stay well. Yeah, I'm out.